Hey friends, this is Jahzmine with the Unfiltered Flow podcast, and today we are talking about something that we all want but rarely slow down enough to actually practice. Can you guess? It's happiness. I'm not talking about the loud, shiny Instagram version. I'm not talking about the I'll be happy when version. I'm talking about the art of being happy. The right here in real life, in the middle of the mess, art of being happy. Because happiness isn't something you find, it's something you allow. Take a breath with me and let's talk about it. There was a moment, nothing dramatic, where I realized I was doing everything right. I was showing up, I was working, I was parenting, teaching yoga, I was holding space, but I still felt flat. I felt like something wasn't adding up. I remember asking myself, why? Why am I not happier? And that question alone carries so much shame because we're taught that happiness should just happen if our life looks good on the outside. But what I learned and what changed everything is that happiness and pleasure are not the same thing. And most of us, we're chasing the wrong thing. So pleasure versus happiness. There's a psychiatrist named Dr. Anna Lampke. She's a medical director of Stanford's addiction medicine program and author of Dopamine Nation. Her research focuses on how our brain responds to pleasure, like scrolling and sugar, chocolate, shopping, all those things, all the good things. And she explains that dopamine isn't the happiness chemical. It's the wanting chemical. So I'm going to go back for a second and explain dopamine, because dopamine is a neurotransmitter hormone that sends signals to our brain. And it's what we call the feel-good chemical. It makes us feel good in the moment. It's the wanting, it's the I need this right now situation. So what Dr. Anna is saying is that it's actually called the wanting chemical, and it makes so much sense. Pleasure, it feels exciting at the time, but it's restless. It's not consistent. That's why we always keep seeking dopamine. That's why we always keep seeking it and wanting it. And when I heard this, oh my gosh, guys, it hit me so hard because I wasn't unhappy. I was overstimulated. I was filling every little moment I had, every spare moment I had with noise or distraction. And I never had that moment to rest and really appreciate life. And my nervous system just became exhausted at that point. And if you compare happiness to pleasure, it's so the opposite. Happiness is like the feeling of quiet. And psychologist Dr. Rick Hanson, the author of Hardwiring Happiness, he studies how the brain experiences long-term well-being. He explains that happiness is subtle and it feels like your breath is slowing down, that shoulder drop as you exhale that breath, you know that feeling? Not bracing for what's next, not living in that survival mode. He thinks that those little subtle things, changes, will create happiness. When you live in survival mode for a long time, that kind of calm can feel so unfamiliar that it's actually quite uncomfortable. I remember the time when I truly rested, and by truly rested, I mean I had nothing to do. Not one thing, not One person needed me. I could just sit on the couch and do absolutely nothing. And do you know what I did? Do you know what my body did naturally? Reflexes. I reached for my phone to go and start scrolling because I felt so uncomfortable in peace that I had no idea what to do. None. Like, absolutely none. And I realized something big there, that my nervous system was so used to chaos that it couldn't even recognize peace if it kicked it in its butt. Okay? And this isn't the first time I was told this. I have someone super close to me who has told me many times that I basically thrive on chaos. And because I've lived in survival mode for so long, that peace is something that is so new. It's so new to me that I wouldn't even know where or what it is if I saw it next to me. And I'm sure there's so many people out there that feel the same way. There's a quote by Viktor Frankl. He's a psychiatrist, Holocaust survivor who wrote Man's Searching for Meaning. He said, happiness cannot be pursued, it must ensue, meaning happiness is a byproduct of alignment. So when we talk about alignment in yoga, we're talking about aligning not just your body parts, aligning your feet to the mat, aligning your hips to square. We're talking about aligning your soul, aligning your mind, your spirit, your body together. It's almost the same thing. Happiness is a byproduct of being in alignment with yourself. That reframed everything for me. I stopped asking, why am I not happy? And started asking, where am I out of alignment in my life? And that question was so uncomfortable because it made me have to look, it made me have to dig deep to see where exactly I wasn't aligned. And it's honest and it's raw. And sometimes we don't want to actually have that conversation. We don't. It's not something that we want to bring up. And this part matters. So take a second, go grab a pen and paper. If you're driving, don't do that. Keep it in your head. But write this down. Feeling unhappy does not mean you're failing at happiness. Feeling unhappy does not mean that you are failing at unhappiness. Dr. Susan David, author of Emotional Agility, her work focuses on how we relate to emotions instead of avoiding them. She says emotions are data, not directives. So unhappiness isn't yelling at you to fix your whole life. It's not saying, hey, you're unhappy, go change everything. What it's doing is it's giving you information. It's telling you something doesn't feel right. It's saying you're tired, maybe you should go rest. You're overstimulated, maybe you should slow down. You're overgiving, maybe you should let someone else take over for a second. Or plainly, you're hungry, go eat something. When I stopped panicking about feeling unhappy and started listening, I felt so less broken. Another voice that deeply shifted my understanding is Dr. Gabor Mate. He is a physician in Vancouver that studies trauma, stress, and addiction. He explains that most coping behaviors aren't about indulgences, they're about relief. Honestly. So if you reach for something that's comfortable in your life, and when life feels heavy and you're reaching for something that is safe for you, it's not that you're weak. It's your nervous system basically asking for safety. And here's the difference I had to learn. Comfort, it numbs, where happiness nourishes, it grows, it develops. Okay? There's a reason positivity alone never works, and that's because happiness needs boundaries. Brené Brown, a researcher and author who studies vulnerability and boundaries, reminds us that boundaries are an act of self-respect. You cannot be happy. You absolutely cannot be happy while constantly abandoning yourself. When you're not taking care of you, how do you expect to feel happy? It's impossible. When you're happy, it will show up in so many different ways. For me, happiness started showing up when I stopped having to explain myself, my life to people, when I stopped caring about what other people thought of me. It showed up when I stopped over functioning past my capacity of being able to function. I know, it's crazy. And with that, I gained a little bit of peace because I set boundaries in my life to be able to get that peace. So let's make this a little bit practical here. How do you actually develop the art of being happy? So happiness on most days could look as simple as taking a purposeful breath, filling the lungs, letting it go. Happiness can look like choosing alignment. What's aligned to you in your life? What is out of alignment? What doesn't work for you anymore? What is causing you stress that you may need to change in order to get your body back into alignment, to get your mind back into alignment? And most of all, happiness could look like okay being enough. What does that mean? It means that if you aren't happy and you're not sad and you're just okay, that is enough. It's okay to be just okay. And most of all, because you're unhappy, if you are unhappy at this present time, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. It doesn't. I just wanted to take a moment, a gentle reminder, just to say that if you are feeling unhappy in ways that feels heavy to you or persistent, please talk to your doctor or a trusted healthcare professional. You don't have to carry it alone. Thank you guys for joining me and flowing through this with me. This is the Unfiltered Flow, real life, real feelings, real movement, on and off the mat.